Hi, guys. Welcome back to Flip the Script with Vic. I'm your host, Victoria Nielsen. My guest today is one that I've admired for a long time. We've worked together before, and she has a very similar mission in that she wants to bring more healthy products and ways of being into the world through her company, Crunchy Mama Box. So today we have Miss Wanda Malhotra with us, and I'm just so excited to be here with you. We haven't actually seen each other in a while.
I know. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited for our conversation today. I was so honored when you said, I want you on my podcast. I said, that's really an honor because I love your work. I love everything you do and stand for. So I'm really happy to be here.
Thank you. And for those that don't know, Wanda actually helped put together this amazing, actually headlined this amazing event, the Wellness Innovation Summit. But it was all part of this Women in Wellness series that you
Yeah.
put a book together. Like I was just one of the many women, but I would love to hear the backstory of kind of how the book came to be and what inspired you, because it really was a powerhouse group of women, not only in the book, but then at the Wellness Innovation Summit. And you're a visionary, Wanda. I want to hear all the things.
Okay, I will tell you, I think my vision comes really from the heart more than anything. I do really what I feel is right and not what, I don't follow a protocol, a book, or anything. I just feel like there's something that's calling me to do something and I will do it. And usually the outcome is really beautiful. And I know for some business people, it's like, oh, that's crazy. You have to look at numbers. Of course, I crunch numbers all the time because a sustainable business is a profitable business. But I think that if it's not coming from the heart, there's no mission, there's no purpose, and that's to me, it's just I prefer not to do it, no matter what the profit is.
That's
So the
exactly what
book,
I think too. It's we need more heart-driven and heart-led businesses. And I love that you're talking about using your intuition in business because I think it's our superpower as women. And actually that we need both the feminine and the masculine in business, right? The masculine being those numbers, the structure, but that feminine intuition and flow is, I think, even more important sometimes because if you didn't have that, you would have never birthed these beautiful things into the world.
thank you. And I don't know if you believe in astrology, but I'm a Pisces, and
Oh,
my
I could see it. You're dreaming.
yeah, all like dreaming and everything, but I'm very grounded because how do you say it in English? I don't, in Portuguese we say ascendente, but it's like your other sign. How do you say that
Oh,
in
like
English?
your rising sign?
Yeah, my rising
Okay.
sign is Taurus, and Taurus is very down to earth and very rational. So I think that I have a good balance when it comes to doing even business or even with my children in my personal life. I think in my personal life, I'm more of a Pisces, but in business, I'm more of a Taurus. However, I try to really listen to my heart because it's so important. Your heart tells you if you're going on the right path, if you're following, the like just if you're being ethical, right? I think your heart is the one that tells you if you're being ethical, if you're doing the right thing. So for the book, let me just get it because I have a copy here.
Yes.
And you are here, my dear. Where are you?
Oh, I
Let me
love
see.
it. I know you
Uh,
read a part of my article on Instagram the other day, and I was just so touched
oh my
because
gosh, it was so beautiful. Where is
I
he?
was I
There
think I'm on the back
you
corner.
are.
Yeah, there we
Here
go.
you are. Here's Victoria.
Oh, that I look like a baby in that picture. I love it though.
Gorgeous. And I love the Palo Santo. I love that. So anyway, so this book, what happened with this book was I was working with Yitzi at Authority Magazine. And we had a lot of topics, a lot of interview series, and we were getting really excited about all of them. Everything was amazing, like, living green and then food as medicine, all these amazing topics. But this one, Women in Wellness, really touched my heart because I started interviewing so many women that were in completely different fields, but all within wellness, right? And not just they were working in wellness, they were also practicing it in their lives, like to not burn out, or they had burnout at some point, and how they were balancing, right? The work and life balance that everybody talks about, but in a way that was very meaningful, very conscious, and not letting them like just inside the realm of wellness in a way that was so beautiful and so meaningful that I said, this needs to be, and you were one of them because your purpose is just so beautiful in life, what you do. So I interviewed 400 women for
Oh my
this
gosh, I didn't realize you interviewed that many. Holy cow.
400 women. And Yitzi was like, you're going to burn out. And I said, when I'm doing something that I'm so passionate about, I will not burn out because I just love talking to these women or interviewing or reading their, some of them were written, some of them I interviewed via video. And it was amazing. So this book is very meaningful. The 35 women here are not like the best or the most special. All of them were special. These 35, they just resonated with me personally more. And I'm very honest about it. That's why these 35 women are here, because their stories just resonated with me, with my story. And I said, I want to put this in a book, in a, printed, beautiful book. And the other ones are still in my column. They're also on my wellness platform, Crunchy Mama Box. So all the interviews were featured. I did not like discard any of them. I just turned these 35 into a book. And a lot of people that read this book, especially women, we have men too. There's one post that I did on Instagram. That's a review that we got from a man who read the book, and he
What did he
posted,
say?
oh my gosh, let me, if you want me to get it, I will get it here. It
Uh-huh.
was so, oh my goodness. It was so beautiful. Let me see.
Oh, I love that. Because yeah, the event that was a celebration of the book had men and women, but I love that you chose from the heart the 35 that touched you because I don't know if you know this, but the Wellness Innovation Summit was the very first time that I had really spoken on stage in that way.
Really?
And it was
Oh
a
my
dream in my
God.
heart that I had had. And so you really gave me that opportunity, that chance to use my voice. And I was so nervous and I was so scared, but my mom came to support me and you were so wonderful and everyone there was wonderful. But yeah, that was like really the first time I had ever owned kind of my voice on stage. So thank you for giving me that opportunity.
You did not look nervous at all. Like I thought you were like just a speaker for trillions of years because you did so, so well. You were
Oh, well,
amazing.
thank you. Well, because it
But
was a
what he
dream and now
said,
it's coming true. But yes, let's hear what did he say?
as a man, I found the diverse stories. Women in, okay, he wrote, Women in Wellness is a must read for anyone seeking inspiration and motivation. As a man, I found the diverse stories of female entrepreneurs incredibly insightful and inspiring. Whether you're starting a business, pursuing personal growth, or seeking to integrate wellness into your life, this book offers valuable guidance and perspective. It's an incredible read that sparked inspiration and motivated me to pursue my dreams with renewed vigor.
That's awesome.
And we have like 211 comments from women on this post because they're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe it, blah, 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 blah. And there's like the pictures of him like opening the book, reading the book, wherever. It's from Amazon. So
Oh my
that
God, but I
was
love that.
that
You
was
have
so
touched so many
special.
people with your beautiful ideas and heartfelt community led. I feel like everything you do is very community led, and that's really important and a value of not only yourself, but of Crunchy Mama Box, your platform. So I would love to speak a little bit more about that. I mean, the book,
Yeah.
came to such natural fruition. Is that how Crunchy Mama Box was born? It kind of just was born naturally out of who you are and your ethos and mission in the world?
So Crunchy Mama Box actually was born from a dream that I had for many, many, many years. So I started in this industry in Brazil. So I'm from Brazil originally. And my mother and I started a business in São Paulo, Brazil for henna-based hair color. So I don't know if you're familiar with
Oh
henna.
my gosh, how cool. Yeah.
Yes, because I was very allergic. Like my skin is very sensitive. Her skin was very sensitive, and she was going gray, and her scalp was like burning up with all the chemicals from hair dyes. And she said, "Hey, let's do a henna business together." And I had just graduated from high school. I was 19 years old, and I said, you know what? I've never done anything, related to business because I was in high school. I always worked and stuff, but I didn't know how to start a business. And my mom was not a good teacher. She was like throwing me in the fire and like, just learn. I remember when I called the bank once to ask about invoicing and all this stuff, and they're like, it's really bad, but the guy was
But
like,
they were like, we don't do that. Like
no, he
you
said, who
you
are
do
you
that.
sleeping with? How did you get this job? Because you don't know anything about anything. And I said,
Oh
I'm
my gosh.
actually
But
not sleeping.
you learned trial by fire for
I
sure.
said, this is my business, but I am learning as I go. And he's like, oh my gosh, like, but I am self-taught because I was thrown in the fire. But of course, I went to college and all that. But that was a dream because I suffered so much as a small business, and I saw other small businesses suffer. And my mom, who was a person that was not organized, and she was not very stable. So it was really hard. And I always had this dream in my head. One day, I am going to open a business just to help small businesses not just survive, because small businesses, I feel like we survive, but thrive in this world that is so competitive and so corporate and so hard for self-funded small businesses, especially. And when I started, it was very difficult for women also, because they would not take women seriously. This is going back 30 years ago in Brazil. That is a very like male oriented country. Like everything is, men start businesses, men do everything, men work in banks. Now it's completely different. Of course, it's changing, and women are, getting their like putting their stake on their spaces in the corporate world and banking and in business. So when I had my third child at age 40, I said, you know what, it's time. It's time for me to leave this business that I have with my family and, do my own thing. And this is my dream. And they didn't have the same dream, which is okay. They continued.
Yeah.
The henna hair color is still in the market, it's still there. But yeah, in Whole Foods and all these, I came to the United States. I moved my family here because we were expanding. So I came here in 97 to New York, where we started exporting to the US. And then I came back with my family in 2012 to open other countries. So by the time I was done with my job, I said, I'm done with my job with the family business. I had opened 40 countries for the business, and we were exporting to 40 countries. And I said, okay, mission
How did I not know
accomplished.
any of this? Like, this is so amazing. Holy cow. Anyone that gets to learn from you is so lucky because not only do you have that firsthand experience, but that international experience. And then to do it with your family, like the dynamics of that must have been so interesting, by the
It
way.
was very, very interesting. That's another conversation,
Yeah,
but
right.
it's a long one. But so I wanted to do this, and I started really, I didn't know the name. I didn't know the name. What name am I going to put for this platform? Until I was scrolling on Instagram and I found this place called Crunchy Mama Box, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. But the owner of this Crunchy Mama Box, sorry, my little Mr. Pickles here.
Hi,
He,
Mr. Pickles.
yeah, Mr. Pickles, say hello. Don't be camera shy. So I said, oh my gosh, this business is so cool. Let me follow her because I love the name. And I was always called a crunchy mama because of all the crunchy things I did. And I had I'm certified health coach. And at the time, I wasn't working as a journalist for Authority Magazine, but I was working with, just, my family business. I was doing the health coaching things. And I contacted her and I said, wow, your business is so cool. What do you do? Oh, I'm a subscription box. And she said, but I'm closing my business because I am a young mom of two small children. I homeschool them and I can't handle this anymore. And I'm closing my business. And I said, don't close it. I'll buy it from you. So she was like, what? You're going to buy my business? And I said, yeah, I will, because I love the name. And it wasn't a registered trademark or anything. Now it is because I registered. But at the time,
Because you're a businesswoman. Yeah.
yes, I had that, business mindset, but she was super sweet and everything went well. And I honored the subscription boxes for 2 years because I promised her. I said, most of her clients she had like 20, 30 clients, but they were all like family and friends. And she said, please honor the boxes. And I did for 2 years. And I actually, we were invited by Amazon to be on their like subscription box section. And we blew up, like we went to 100, 150 subscribers. But that was not what I wanted to do. And it was not profitable. I'll be very honest. It wasn't profitable.
I
And
wondered that because you always think, well, like the manpower of having to put all that together and
yes,
sending it out and yeah, because I think we talked at one point about getting my Oracle cards in the boxes and it was like it just wasn't profitable. It was kind of like, oh,
it's not.
okay, like
No,
sorry.
it's not profitable. And she had a price that was really low. It was 29.99 per box with
Oh wow.
eight
So there was
full-size
so much in
products.
those boxes. They were jam
Eight
packed.
full-size products. It was crazy. And then I was able to get it to 39.99, but it was still not making a profit because then USPS raised the shipping to like $10. And I said, it's not possible. And I can't ask, a lot of brands that I had a relationship with, they were sending us 100, 150 products for free and saying, we just want the promotion, we want to be promoted. But I said it's not sustainable for small businesses. And my goal is to support small businesses. So the way I found to support the small businesses was to create a marketplace. And I created a marketplace. And now we are shifting again because what I found out with what we started doing, because my dream wasn't to have a store. It wasn't an online store. It wasn't subscription. It wasn't marketplace. It was support. It was community and helping brands to either clean their formulas or find resources, sustainable packaging, or even help with distribution or review contracts for them. Sometimes I review opportunities they bring to me, like there's a distributor that sells to Brazil or sells to this person. Can you look at their
Yeah.
contract?
So
Can you
really
look at
using
how
more
they
of
work?
your expertise and actually using you
Yes,
and the Country Mama Box platform as a resource and not
yes,
just, okay, hey, promote my product, but how can you help me behind the scenes? And that's so needed. Like I think back when, I became an accidental entrepreneur, not even realizing that this was a dream I had always had, there were so many questions you just don't know of
yes,
like, well, legally, what am I supposed to do? And should I trademark that thing? And oh, I am going to get an order of, Oracle cards from China. Like, is that the best way to do it? I think, wow, what a beautiful pivot to not only better use your expertise, but again, to actually fulfill the dream. And I hope anyone listening, like, can hear, yes, the resilience in Wanda's story, but how many times you have to pivot and move as a business owner. You're not staying stagnant. You're not always doing the exact same thing. And that having the courage maybe to burn something down or to change it or to shift is what is called for,
yes.
in not only the growth of your business, but your personal growth as well.
Exactly, exactly. And I even talked to all the brands because we started the certification program because the brands were like, oh, can you have a seal of approval when you test our products? Because it's very rigorous. They send us their ingredients, we review the ingredients, then we talk to them about, their social impact, what they do, how they educate the consumers, and then they send samples, and then we test the samples, we send them an assessment report of what we found from their samples. So performance, texture, scent, how it, works on the skin or on the hair. So it's a really like complete, it's a really big audit that we do with
Yeah, it's like it
all
sounds rigorous and thorough.
very
Yeah.
rigorous. So they like that and they wanted the seal. So we started the CMB certification program because they said we want to print the seal and put it on our products or put it on our website or email signature. So we started that and we said, and I'm very like I'm very committed. So if I'm going to give you a certification, I want you to have an assessment report. I want you to have the seal of approval. I want to give you everything that supports this seal that you're carrying and not just, oh, here's a sticker.
Yeah.
That's not how it
Yeah, the
works.
sticker that doesn't mean anything, just add it.
Right, right. No, if it's not super meaningful for me, it's just not it non-existent, right? So then we started also the Crunchy Connect meetings because I was having a lot of calls from brands asking for one-on-one consulting, but some of them couldn't afford one-on-one consulting. So I said, let's start monthly meetings where all the brands can come in and it's once a month and it's free for, I mean, it's not, it's included in their CMB membership. And on, if you're certified, you can be part of this membership. And once a month, they pick my brain and we exchange experiences also because some of them used to be attorneys, some of them used to be in operations in retail. So we exchange, it's such a rich exchange of experience and just like advice. It's amazing. I love these meetings. So we started doing that. And last meeting, which was now in November, I said, the marketplace is going to close. And they're like, oh, it's okay. Because I said, look, you guys keep your sales, because with the marketplace, I had a lot of expenses. They had expenses also. They had to give me a commission to keep the marketplace open. So I'm really transparent and honest with everything that I do. So I told them, guys, this is not working for me. And if you're okay with this, if you want to keep, stay with me and have the Crunchy Connect. And they were like, we love the feature, like we love to be featured, the exposure you give us, because I write articles about them. I have the podcast, the Mission Driven Founders podcast. So I interview the brand founders and we talk about, how they started their business. So, and also social media. I promote all the brands on social media every single day. I'm promoting them. So they said, we're going to stay with you because
Yeah, it's worth it. It's
it's
the
worth
value
it.
is insane because you have such a vast network, but I also love that you've always been collaboration over competition. You're like, I'm going to
Yes.
share with you. Like, there's no reason not to because there's more than enough for all of us.
Yes.
And I think founders need more of these spaces, right? To have open and honest conversations about what's happening. And to your exact point, all of us are a melting pot of expertise. Just because I'm a founder of this business doesn't mean I don't have all this knowledge back here that actually is really helpful to the rest of the group.
True.
And, what a way to help not only women, but just more women owned businesses, I think, succeed and thrive in the world, like you were saying, because I truly believe I don't want to say women do more with our money, but we kind of do. I don't know. We think of our communities, we think of how we can better the world around us. And so I think more conscious women need to have money in their pocket to make meaningful change. And you're helping that. So that's like the best thing ever.
You're so right about that. I know we have wonderful men out there doing amazing things from the heart also, but I feel like women, they are always the heart of the corporation or of the family. They're the ones that say, that's great, honey, but why don't we, like, make a donation or go volunteer somewhere? So I feel like the women, they are caregivers, as like it's their natural essence to be a caregiver. And the men, of course, they're out there, they're doing, what they're doing. And a lot of men are caregivers too. I don't like to, say like, you know, like like, label by sex, right? Men do this, women do that. I don't believe in that at all. I think we both can be from the heart, but I feel like women today, and it's shifting, they are more from the heart than men sometimes. And helping these women has been just so fulfilling for me, to see them thrive. And when I write articles about them, and then I started writing articles about wellness retreats, wellness travel, so nature resorts, and I started covering these nature resorts and wellness retreats, and it was amazing. I did one that was a cancer remission retreat in Kentucky. And I have to connect you with this lady. She is amazing. Her, oh my gosh, Emily's event, when I got there, I said, I'm here covering, and I feel bad because I don't have cancer, but everything there was for cancer patients. But the cancer patients that were there were the most amazing people. I learned so much from them, and they were so positive, and everything we were doing was, and I came back and I'm continuing all the, the tips, the diets, the supplements that they were doing. I'm doing it. I said, you know what? It's not going to hurt me. And who knows, it'll prevent cancer on me,
Right? It could really help. Oh, I
Oh my
love
gosh,
that.
I just love that retreat. There's an article on my website about that. And so I started writing about wellness retreat and wellness, and then wellness real estate came in. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love this." And I started researching more about wellness real estate.
So yeah, tell me, wellness real estate, like places that people are purchasing to create like wellness resorts and things like that, or
So I have an article about wellness real estate because I am just fascinated. Um I have to show you this article. So there's now it started in big cities because, there's not a lot of nature in big cities. So they started putting, cold plunge, saunas, and just more
Oh, like trying,
nature
like kind of, yeah, in, it's not high impact areas, but a lot of wellness things in like one
inside
location.
buildings,
Okay.
constructions, houses, and nature, more nature around. And like sometimes you don't, you have a vertical garden because you can't have a garden. And just a lot of design developers, everyone, architects, they're all shifting towards the wellness real estate. And I live in Knoxville, Tennessee, and you know how Knoxville is like rivers and waterfalls and everything. And I decided that I was going to also tap into that market because I just love the concept of wellness real estate. It just resonated with me when I read this article. I was like, I want to not only write about this, I want to immerse myself in this as well. So I'm adding to our platform real estate by becoming a realtor. So I am now a wellness realtor.
Oh my gosh. Wanda, you have to be a manifesting generator. Do you know your human design, by the way?
I don't.
Oh, we'll have to
How do
look it
you
up
do
after the
that?
call
Tell me.
because you have to be. So, a manifesting generator is you have so many different things in the fire because you're so excited by so many different things. But the interesting thing is you're the person that's meant to start the venture, but you're actually supposed to pass it on to someone else to finish. So
That's
like
so true.
you have the idea, like you have the vision, but then you have to pass it to someone else to bring it to fruition. So we have to look this up because I bet
Yes.
you are. But I
Oh my
love
gosh, I
that.
would love to do that because I feel like I really, I'm so passionate about things, and I do really start a lot of things, and sometimes I pass it on, sometimes I don't, sometimes I keep, what I love the most. But I said, let me try this because what supports Crunchy Mama Box and all the events and all the things that I do is really my personal real estate investments here in Knoxville, Tennessee. So when I moved here, before I created the platform, before I met the Crunchy Mama, original person, I started doing real estate because I left my family business and I said, what am I going to do? And I had never thought about, buying real estate in Knoxville
Yeah.
because I had just moved here and I had my family in England. I have my father's Indian and all my Indian side of the family, my father's side of the family lives in England. So they do real estate. They were always real estate investors. And, I wasn't business partners with them, but I learned from, their conversations and all that. And they were always telling me, invest in real estate in the US now that you're in the US, because you have property in Brazil, you do this and that. And I said, oh my gosh, it's a new territory for me. And, and you're scared and you do it anyway. So this is what I did in Knoxville, and it worked really well. And the funny thing is I had one property that was like a building with a few apartments, and I started a vegetable garden there. And it was a low income property. And I said, you guys have to eat better. So I put my health coaching in practice, and we
Hmm.
created, and a lot of people volunteered because it was a low income building, and we didn't really have the budget to do that. But I said, we're going to find a way to do it. And we did it together as a community. Knoxville is a beautiful community. People came together and donated, the wood to do the raised beds. And now this property no longer belongs to me. It's sold to another person, but the new person allowed them to keep the garden. So I
Hmm.
go there to visit them, and they have strawberries, they have cucumbers, they have everything organic the way we created it. So that, while I'm reading about wellness real estate, I'm like, I did that.
You're
I
like, wait
did
a
that.
second. I'm already doing this. Which also, by the way, you're also raising three kids, like as you're
Yes.
doing this, by the way.
Well,
Like I
two are
want
raised. Two, yeah, one is 23 and the other one is 21, and then the little one is 9. But yes, but I
but
did raise
still, a
kids.
mom to three, like, but throughout this journey, right, of entrepreneurship and of moving to the US and like, let's just not forget you're doing all of this and you have kids that you're also keeping alive and instilling your values in. And Mama, I hope you know how amazing you are, truly,
Oh, thank you,
because
Victoria. I
there
think
are not
you're
many
amazing.
like you in this world, Wanda, really.
What about you? I so admire your work, everything you do. I follow your Instagram. I'm like, this lady is and you're so close, right? You're in Atlanta.
I know. We need to get back together.
Yeah,
I think
we do.
we're after this podcast, we're gonna have to plan like a lunch date, or I'm gonna have to come back up to Knoxville and
Yes,
do an event with Crunchy Mama Box again because
let's
you're
do
too
that.
close not to.
You know, there is a nature retreat here. They called me and said, "Do you want to organize a wellness retreat for me?" And I said, "Sure." I'm waiting to hear back from them. I'm not going to say names because I don't know if it's going to close or not. But I was like, I have the perfect person to come here and do you.
I would
Yes, I
love
was
that.
thinking about you already. I said,
Oh,
"Oh my
Wanda, I
gosh."
love
I even
that.
told Anna. I said, "Anna, who is my Brazilian friend, who I think
Yes, yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
know."
Like met and oh, I love
Yes.
her also.
I
Oh my
said,
gosh.
Anna, we have to do this like a very, very meaningful event together because I love these events. We did one at Anchor Park that was beautiful. We had sound bath healing, we had all these beautiful things, and it was right by the water. So can you imagine the energy that we had during that event? And it was a very simple event. It was a potluck. People brought their own food, but what it was supposed to like end at 8. It was 10 o'clock. We were still there by the water and talking and eating. It was amazing. It was really like the outcome was, anyway, I'm not gonna go into that. There's,
But I
I,
love it. If anyone is listening that's in Knoxville, you need to look up Wanda, Crunchy Mama Box. I mean, she's always doing a million different things. You know, those that are listening, I guess if you were to impart any last, I don't know, wisdom, advice, or thoughts from the heart, whether they're an entrepreneur or a mom or just a human in the world right now, what would you want to share with them?
what I want to share is that everything that you do, just make sure you speak to your heart before you take any decision, make any, take any steps in life, and make informed decisions also, not just listen to your heart, because sometimes your heart, it can, you can confuse that with anxiety, you can confuse that with, oh, I want to get it done. So like, when I say listen to your heart, it's not just act by impulse or be too spontaneous to not think about the consequences, but of course, make informed decisions, do your research, but sit with yourself, meditate, breathe before you take that step or you make that decision, because it's so important that we talk to our consciousness and say, hey, is this the right thing for me? And sometimes, we can say we're talking to God, we're talking to Mother Nature, we're talking to the universe, to our hearts, but there is a power. I don't know what your belief is, and I respect all kinds of religions and beliefs, but there is a greater power, and it's listening to your quiet self that you will get to that power and make the right decision.
I
So that's
love
that's I
that.
think my advice is to really understand that also in this planet we are all connected, we're all interconnected, right? So what you do here may affect someone over there, and the planet and communities we live in. So every decision we make is very important, and we have to think about others, not just about ourselves, and just, just do good. I think that
Yeah, I
that's the
like
most
pass it
important thing.
forward.
Pass
But I
it
love the
forward.
pause because I do think there's this urgency, right, in the world right now. Everything has to happen right this second.
Yeah.
And we can jump into things too quickly when we don't give ourselves the time to actually feel into our bodies and feel if it's a good decision for us or not. And I truly believe there are no bad decisions because, right, every decision has led you somewhere that has now led you to where you are. But I do think more of us need to take that sacred pause to see if it's right or not for us. And let it be okay if it's not, and be able to let it go and to shift. And so I'm so excited for anyone listening to this conversation because I think there are so many golden nuggets to be inspired by, and you are such an inspiration in the way that you walk in the world, that you walk the walk, you talk the talk, you show up exactly as you are, Wanda. And I would love, how can folks get in touch with you, in touch with Crunchy Mama Box? How can we find you?
So it's very easy. It's crunchymamabox.com, and all social media is Crunchy Mama Box, or if you want to look into the certification, is CMB certified. But on all platforms, it's very easy to find our email, phone numbers. So it's very easy to get in touch with us. We're always replying to messages, emails, DMs. So we're available. I make myself available as much as I can, and everything regarding wellness, I am here. I'm happy to talk to everyone about this. Sometimes we have consumers calling us about what pots and pans to use. I always use this example. I'm getting repetitive. My son said, you're getting old, you're getting repetitive.
No, but hey, this audience hasn't heard it, so
But I don't sell pots and pans. I don't have anything to do with pots and pans. Like no, I don't have any like brand that sponsors us, but I do like to talk about that because it's what we cook in and it's important. So consumers call me for everything. Like sometimes they call me just, my baby's having colic and I don't have anything for that, but let's talk about it. Let's talk about what I did. I'm not a doctor. I tell them I can't give medical advice, but I can tell you what I did with my kids. And, if you want to, take advice or not, it's okay because I'm not giving medical advice. I'm just giving mama to mama advice.
exactly. Crunchy mama advice. I love
Yes.
it. Thank you so much for being
Thanks.
here, Wanda. Thank you all for listening in. If you have enjoyed this conversation, please like, rate, subscribe, review, share this with another woman who needs to flip the script, change her perspective, or just listen to an honest conversation between real women. Thank you guys for being here. Be good to one another. I'll see you real soon. Mwah.
Beautiful, Victoria.